Alright, I've now finished all the table legs all the way around, so that's what to be 8 sides then. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carve some text into the table. I've already started, and I'll just show you what I've actually done here. There's the text there, and basically I've used a different type of chisel this time around, and which I'll show you in a moment. And the text itself is actually from the Buddhist Four Noble Truths. Now, grab that chisel. So, the chisel I'm going to use this time, I'll just put my hand there, try and capture that for you. We can sort of see that it's got a bit of a V shape in it. It's called a V tool or a V-Gouge. A lot of the time when you're carving, you use what are called gouges. And as you probably noticed, I didn't, if you know what a gouge is, you probably noticed I didn't use one of those when I did the table legs. So this is actually a really nice one that was given to me by someone. And the thing is with these particular tools that I've noticed that if they're either really good or they're just really horrible. And you'll know you've got a horrible one because when you try to do anything, it just jams into the to the wood very badly. And the reason being, I don't know how far I can get in close in here. I think it's going to be hard to zoom in. Yeah, might be a little too close. There we go, that's a bit better. Yeah, there's a little part at the bottom here. If that's not quite set right, it's very hard to get it, especially on cheap chisels. Just to perform well. I mean, I know some people regrind them, but I've had some cheap ones and I just haven't been able to get them to be very good at all. So, anyway, the idea with these is that the little V tip part here at the bottom, that's the part that sort of brings up the wood, and you can use these instead of a knife if you want to do stop cuts. Although they'll have their purpose. I personally still prefer the knife, but look, I'll set this up now so I can show you how I sort of do it, and also show you in this video how I've gone about setting out the text on the table. Okay, now I've got this part of the table where I want to center the text. I have my text here. Basically, I just found a font that I liked, put down the word that I wanted, and printed out a Microsoft Word. I think this size is about 72 point for this size, so just looking at it there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure the distance from the table leg to table leg. Oops. And it's 1070, so that's 1070 millimeters. Move that back a bit. Alright, so 1070 millimeters. I've still got my little metal rule from last time, and I'll just measure this. So that's it's nearly 100 mil. So yeah, so it'd be what, I'll say 970. Okay. So yeah, so if I divide 970 in 2, so what's that for? 485. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go from one table leg to the other, and I'm going to come across 485, just give me my pencil. Mark there, so you can see that. Oh, it's marking there. Mark one pencil line, and then come in the other side. That's from the other table leg. Oops. That's a pretty cheap tape measure, but it's also probably me as well. But anyway, all right, just going to put that there, hold it there, and I'll hold my. All right, there. So there. All right. Got 2 dots there, so that should sit in the middle there. And what I've done is, to work out where I'm going to center this, is I've come down on the other 2 sides that I've already done this on, come down 30 millimeters. Alright. Okay, and what I did then was, because all the texts that I actually have, they have a line which I worked out is exactly the same position on all the text, and I've just roughly lined up where those dots are. So that one, that there. I could probably take a little bit more paper off this to get it to line up a bit better. Yeah, I might actually get some scissors. Should I just tore it? That's better. Alright, that'll do. Close enough. Okay. Alright, so I've got that just taped on there now. Now I've got to get my trace paper. And I'll just put that under there. And the reason I taped it just on the sides there is because it's easier to then slide the tracing paper under without having to cut it. So, you know, if I taped it on both sides, then I'd have to cut a piece out or fiddle around a bit. So, anyway, then I'm just going to, as I've done before, just put a bit of pressure. And I've got to colour in the black lines as best I can. Oop, let's check that. And I know that the style of this table, what I've been doing is at this stage, it's a bit different because I've got Celtic knotwork and I've got this sort of Indian style text, you know, to do with Buddhism. So it's a bit of a contrast. But look, I don't care. I do what I want. You know, it doesn't really matter. So I mean, I like Celtic knotwork, and the text I'm actually doing is actually the words of what are called the Four Noble Truths in Buddhism. And it's not that I'm 100% Buddhist or anything really. I mean, I think a lot of different philosophies have different things you can take out of them. I mean, I like a lot of different things, both East and West. And anyway, if you've never read the Four Noble Truths, it can sound to some people at first maybe a little depressing about life, but it's not really. You know, the key thing is really that a big part of living is there's a lot of suffering in life. I mean, not all the time, and it's that our suffering comes from our desires, basically. So, yeah, the four steps are basically number one, identifying that's where there is a lot of suffering in life. And then looking at what causes it, which is desires and attachment to things, and then looking at how to sort of deal with it or cure it in a sense. And then there's really looking at the enlightenment, and then within that there's 8 sort of steps. I'm not sure they call it steps, but to do so, to get to the enlightenment stage. So I'm not like I don't know a great deal about that sort of thing, but what I've read before, I think it makes an awful lot of sense when you sort of look at life that way. Anyway, I've got my chisel here now, so the V one. I might zoom in a little so you can sort of see what's going on over here. Alright. So, because this wood's quite soft, I can just use, again, a bit of hand pressure. And I'm just putting the chisel just so I can grab a bit of the wood, and then I'm just sliding it there. And the deeper the angle you change, the deeper it's going to go, and the more shallow, the shallower that's going to go. But it's not just shallower. It also makes a thinner line. So if I go deep down, I'm going to get a thicker line because of the way the V is. It's going to come up more up the size of the V. But then shallow, it's going to be less of the V, so it gets a thinner line, and also not as deep. It can take a little bit of practice. I haven't used one for a while actually, so I noticed the other 2 bits of text I did were a little bit out, and I slipped there a bit too then. And also the other thing you can do is you want to try and control the tool, like I've always sort of said. As you can sort of see, I'm slowly, gently wiggling the chisel. So when it gets a little bit stuck, you can just gently wiggle it side to side, and it'll start to cut through the wood. I'm probably going to give this one a little bit of a sharpen. It's still good though, not bad. Probably should have done that before I actually started the other text. You might be able to hear the music in the background. I've actually got some, I found some Indian sitar music on YouTube, which I really quite like the instrument myself. And this one I found is actually like a 10-hour track. I'm assuming it's looping at some point. I haven't worked out where yet, but yeah, it's really, I like it. It's very relaxing. I actually bought myself just the other day. I was listening to some flute music. Indian flute. What do they call them? I'm trying to think what they're called now. Bansuri, I think they're called, something like that. There's two different types of flutes, I think, in India. I'm not sure. There might be more. There's the one that sort of that I bought, which is generally made of bamboo, sometimes wood, I think. Then there's that one that you may have heard before, which is that really kind of, I don't know, twangy one that's they use for, you might have seen in things where they do it for snake charming. That's that sort of sound. But yeah, I thought I'd have a go at that. I quite like a lot of that music. I don't know, the sound is very relaxing, and it'd be nice to learn a new instrument, because my main instrument I've always played, so I started when I was about 13. That was a guitar, and I ended up doing final high school with as music as one of my subjects, which is actually, yeah, quite a bit of work actually. Good things you have to do. But yeah, I thought it'd be nice to learn a new instrument. Played a little bit of keyboards, not much. I had a trumpet for a little while too. I was okay at that. But I'd like to get maybe a sitar myself one day. They're a bit more expensive than the flute that I bought. I remember hearing years ago something about, I don't know how true it is or not, but about something to do with science about with the brain, with I think maybe it's due to dementia or something like that. That you should sort of keep doing something that keeps your brain active, but not something that you necessarily gotten good at. So, for instance, if you're playing an instrument, because I mean, there's a lot of depending on the instrument you're playing, there's a lot of coordination and things that you've got to get used to, and that's good for your brain apparently. But if you get really good at it and it's just natural, then you should probably move on to a different instrument or something else altogether to get the benefits of that. That's what I've heard. And so yeah, guitar's pretty natural to me now. So yeah, learning something different would be good. I'd like to have a go at the piano accordion as well. I really like the piano accordion. But I think that one, for me, would be quite challenging because of the sort of technique. But it'd be quite good. I will get one eventually. The first time I really heard a piano accordion was listening to an Australian band, I guess, called the Dirty Three. And I think they had an album, I think it was back in the 90s, called Dirt. It was a really good album, and there was a track on there they had the piano accordion, and it didn't sound, you know, like polka music or anything like that. It was actually quite a sad sound actually. I don't know, I really liked it. I actually should put that on a bit later. I haven't heard that for a very long time, that album. Alright, so let's go do this line here. So I'm looking at buying some land at the moment. I might go look at today or tomorrow perhaps. And it's funny because when I think about like what I was talking about here with the Four Noble Truths, you know, the idea of it's the desires that make you suffer, it's true, because I don't quite have enough money to build something and whatever that I want to, but also, I don't know, I was thinking about this morning when I went for a walk, that it's alright, you know, like, I think it's okay to want to do things in life, but at the same time, if everything goes to pear-shaped, you know, just have an attitude where it doesn't really matter, you realise that, because it doesn't matter, you know, like, you know, things go pear-shaped, at least you tried something, it doesn't matter. It's just our attachments to things that make us worry and get anxious, but, you know, if things go to crap, oh well, doesn't matter. Plenty of people over history who have, you know, made millions, lost it all again, made it again, lost it, you know, so, but that's not, wasn't really about the money or anything, it was just about something I wanted to do, and I'd like to build something because it would, I think, be a really enjoyable project, you know, building it yourself. And as you can see with this carving, I'm just using my hands, because as I said, it's really soft wood, and but you know, a lot of time you could use a mallet to sort of, you know, tap it, or even a piece of wood or anything, if you really wanted to have maximum control. Because to be honest, what I've done here is a little bit average, and I think it's probably part of it too that it's been such a long time since I used the V-tool. I mean, you could do this too with a Dremel. That would probably be better, like better finish, mate, or maybe. Still takes sometimes a bit of practice even with those. What I'm just doing here too occasionally is I'm just going back to look at what I've done, and see, it doesn't look quite right. Comparing it between the bit of paper I have and what I've actually done. And it is a little bit different. I can see I've gone a bit off, and there's a bit missing. Like that. See, alright, this bow should go all up to the line. Okay, so I think it looks kind of right, a bit off, but alright, well there's that one. I've only got one more to do because I've already done two. But hopefully, you know, understand what I've been doing there and just practice that yourself. I'm also going to probably do the chairs. I've started one, and I'll show you how I've done that as well in another video. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed.